This is, I will confess, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is my dream job, Sean.
I'm the best in the community, and I like to give back to the community that's given me so much.
We had focused on several sites initially. Well, I think this is where Dave and I, do
Welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show, where we focus on organizations and issues affecting you in the city of Lynn. Here with me today to discuss the Salvation Army, we have Captain David Payton and Captain Marika Payton. Guys, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for inviting.
So before we get too much into the organization and the outstanding services that you guys offer to Lynn community, I want to talk a little bit about the research that I've done. The Salvation Army is an evangelical part of the Universal Christian Church, which provides opportunity for spiritual growth and development. You can find them at 1 Franklin Street in Lynn, Mass. You can also call down to 781-598-0673. Before we get too much into the fun stuff, I want to talk a little bit about you guys and how you got involved. Your story's outstanding. If you noticed, we've got David Payton and Marika Payton. They are a lovely family, and we're going to learn a little bit about them. David, why don't we start with you?
Well, my family has quite a history with the Salvation Army. I'm a fifth-generation Salvationist. My wife is a first-generation Salvationist, so we bring good perspective from those different points of view. But I was a child of Salvation Army parents, so we moved quite a bit every 2 to 3 years. We in the Northeast United States somewhere. Eventually, I became a Salvation Army officer myself, served about half of my service overseas. I served in Russia, the Eastern Europe Territory, as we call it, for about 11 years. It was during that time that I met my wife. I was at our seminary there, which at that time was located in Helsinki, Finland, where she became a cadet, a student at our seminary.
So you're telling me the Salvation Army brought you together?
Definitely.
That's an awesome love story, man.
Yeah.
That should be told over and over again.
Yeah.
Marika, let's talk a little bit about you. So you met David where?
I met him in Helsinki, Finland.
Okay.
I was born in Tbilisi, Georgia. It's a former Soviet Union, small country between Russia and Turkey, so on the Black Sea. I was born there, and I met Salvation Army in 1996. And I became part of Salvation Army there. And after I was suggested to take job, my master's was in teaching. So I was suggested to take a job as a teacher in Helsinki to teach little kids.
Right.
So I went there, I took it, and there in training school. And there I met Dave next year, though.
Outstanding. That's a great story. It's always fun to learn about organizations and then the people who are involved. I keep noticing a reoccurring, really kind of it's the same thing. Everybody's kind of involved with their organizations because of their family or something like that. Seems to be the case with you. Any family involved?
Not really. I am probably only
First generation, that's right.
Yes,
right.
I am the only one. My parents are back in Georgia.
I should listen to my guests better on the show. So I want to talk a little bit about the Salvation Army as a whole. We see you guys everywhere. You're always out there volunteering time, whether it's to a community or family or just on a religious basis. But let's talk a little bit about, for the viewers at home who may not know anything, what is the Salvation Army? What's its function?
Its root function is it's an evangelical Christian church. Very early on, the founders of the Salvation Army, Catherine and William Booth, started off purely as an evangelical movement, but very quickly understood that a big part of our audience they could not reach until they met their needs. They felt truly called to the down and out. There's that famous story where William Booth took his son Bramwell Booth when he was very young, took him down to what's an avenue called Mile End Waste in London, and watched the men just stumbling out of the bar. And he said to his son, "These are our people. These are the people that this is our target audience, if you will." And that has pretty much stayed the same throughout the Salvation Army's history and throughout the over 100 plus, about 120 countries now the Salvation Army works in, about 30 to 40 languages as well. So it's an international evangelical church. We're mostly known for the humanitarian aid that is given or the Christmas assistance. We don't do our own homework enough. We don't tell the story of the Salvation Army enough. so that most people understand what it is. And it's hard. It's a church. We're both ordained and commissioned ministers of the gospel. There is church on Sunday. We preach. We teach. It came out of the Methodist movement in the 1865, which we recognize as the beginning. But it's pretty much followed that same trend. It came out of what's called the holiness movement, and that you'll see all of that if you go down to the Salvation Army today.
You know, I talked to you before the show if you could speak to the history, and you were like, yeah, I guess I could. And you did an outstanding job. When it comes down to history, I'm a big, huge buff, and it's always fun to hear about how it started. Now, you guys offer a ton of services over there. I went on your website, and some of the things that stuck out to me, and what a lot of people know you for is like emergency disasters, feeding the hungry, getting families to get back into line. A lot of these services, are they offered in Lynn?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to address that?
We have an after-school program.
Right.
And we are licensed for 39 kids. So there is 39 kids in our building every day, even now.
Right.
And we provide for them safe environment. We do homework with them. We have great teachers there, and we also provide lots of curriculum activities, especially during summer. They are in our building for 9.5 hours every day, and we do lots of trips with them, and these trips are free. So that's one thing what we do with kids. We also provide food. We have a food pantry, which is open every day. And food pantry, we call it like emergency assistant. So we do provide food. And people come, they have to call for appointments, and we give appointments, and we provide for food. We do lots of turkeys distribution on Thanksgiving, and of course on Christmas distribution, Item Santa. We have, can you help with other?
There's several other things that are year-round. There are emergency assistance of various kinds, rental assistance, there's a disaster assistance, sometimes people get burned out of their homes. They need almost anything, everything. So it's hard to categorize some of that. But if they come in and needing bread, almost every day there's a collection of bread that we distribute there for the asking. Some special deliveries from other bakeries and things like that. So just some essentials are almost always there. But if someone has any kind of social need, any kind of clothing, sometimes even furniture, there's at least places we can point them towards if we cannot help directly ourselves.
Right, right. So a lot of these guys who come in for assistance is just word of mouth walk-ins. Do you do anything to reach out to them?
There's nothing we do in terms of advertising.
Right.
The word seems to be out there, and all we have a director of social services who are well connected with other people in the community who are doing similar things.
Yeah. Okay. And also usually during winter we do winter coat distribution, and that's very important. There is lots of people walking in almost every day in our building and asking for warm clothes. So we haven't done this year yet, but we are waiting for coats arrive, and we're going to have another winter coat distribution. And there is also lots of parents come and ask for gloves and hats for kids.
Right.
So that's one of the things we do.
So now the Salvation Army, you see bins from time to time. There's two parts to the game for advocating. One, you help the people in need, and then two, you have to source organizations and other people who are well off to help you out. How do you get people to come in and volunteer? I mean, is that a walk-in basis too, or do you advertise there?
Volunteering has become a bit more complex in the recent decades because there was a time when someone could just walk in and want to volunteer and we can put them to work.
Okay.
That's not always the case now. There are systems in place. There's background checks on some occasions in place. We do have a kids club program in there which requires its own checks as well. But we're right now gifted with a team of very helpful, generous volunteers. Anyone who wishes to volunteer can come down, and there's some paperwork involved in that.
Yeah,
but
there's paperwork involved, but it's absolutely doable.
Yeah.
And even today we had Item Santa distribution, and we had about 10 volunteers from H&R Block.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They just came and they called, they asked, so that's better to call.
Yeah, make me aware how much labor I'm going to have to work with. That's
we
good.
have volunteers from GE. They came, and actually this year they also set up our store. a toy store.
Yeah, I saw that up on Facebook. You guys did a pretty outstanding job.
Yeah.
You do a good job with the social media too, Dave. You guys are on, I believe it's www.facebook.com/Salvation Lynn.
Yes.
You can jump on Facebook and see them and follow these guys. It's great. Now, what's really outstanding to me about the Salvation Army is that you guys hit it on a worldwide scale. A lot of the organizations that we have come in here are Lynn-based focused. So, I mean, there's going to be a certain sense of pride in what you do. I mean, the numbers are there. You already talked to them. How many languages do you guys speak in with the organization?
I don't know precisely. It's between 30 and 40 languages.
Language.
So, I mean, you guys are making impacts worldwide. While you're out there, I mean, do you have any success stories? It sounds like you've done some traveling on your own, Dave. Can you give me some insight about, how it's paid off for you?
It's paid off for me because I knew from an earlier age that if I ever became a Salvation Army officer, that I would have to do some international work. The Americas are, if I can be bold enough to say, super saturated with all kinds of religiosity. Every kind of church you could possibly want it. It's on every street corner. And I felt I needed to do something that was in places where it was less populated, less informed. So that's why I offered for international service and they sent me to Russia. The thing that I did there that most is memorable is what we called a discipleship training school, where our soldiers, our members are soldiers,
Right.
And we enroll them. That's our form of baptism. There's a public enrolling ceremony where they get their uniform and they take their pledge and things like that. They sign their covenant. And we developed some kind of residential school for them to go to get fully discipled, fully trained. What is the mission of the Salvation Army? What does the Bible say? What's our outreach? What's our target? And how do we do that? And that was very inspiring. Some of those things I've tried to bring back with me while we're back here.
Outstanding. Sounds like you've gained a lot from it. You guys are a great organization in Lynn and worldwide. We just talked a little bit about that. What we're going to do is take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into some of the stuff we mentioned, their worship services, the Kids Club, which is a great part of what these guys do. So why don't we take a quick break and stay tuned.
There are heroes among us. They don't fly or bend steel or ride off into the sunset. They simply volunteer to look after someone else's health by providing comfort, lending a hand, or simply keeping us on track. Everyone's health needs a hero. Who will you look out for?
Find out how you can participate in improving our health. Visit iparticipate.org.
Welcome back. This is the LynnCAM TV Show. We focus on organizations and issues affecting you right here in the city of Lynn. If you're just joining us, we're here with the Salvation Army, Captain David Payton and Captain Marika Payton. You guys are outstanding. They're located at 1 Franklin Street in Lynn, Mass. Call down 781-598-0673. And we're talking about the services that they offer in Lynn. So far, we've talked a lot about who you guys are, what the Salvation Army is, even talked a little bit about its history. Now we're going to get into some of the services that you guys offer. Worship is a big part of what you do. For those at home who aren't aware, Salvation Army is an evangelical part of the Universal Christian Church, which provides opportunity for spiritual growth and development. Dave, I know you've got that memorized. A lot of respect for you there, a lot of big words in there. But let's talk about some of your worship. I noticed if you jump right onto the website, www.salvationarmyma.org/Lynn, you can find out all the detail on this. But for those joining us right now, let's talk about the services that you guys offer.
Well, anyone can come at 9:30 on Sunday morning and join our worship service. I've had in many years we've been here, we've been a long stay here, over 8 years, 8.5 by now. We've got a very welcoming, open, and very three-dimensional congregation. They're friendly, they're approachable, and anyone can come in and just join us. We serve refreshments after that, get to know each other a bit better. But there's a whole system of other programs targeted for very different age groups to help them if you're not into a worship service of that kind. We have character building programs for young children. The girls we call Sunbeams, and we do a adventure corps for the boys. Those ages are school ages, primary school ages.
And this is free programs.
Yeah, there's no cost to those. They meet weekly. There's a program specifically for teens that we target on Friday nights. We give special attention, special programming to young adults, the kind of 20-somethings out there, which my wife and I love to get involved with personally. With that, there's a special women's program and a special men's program. And what we've done is we turned our Wednesday nights into what we call family night, where we get together for a whole meal. We get generous donations from Whole Foods and other locations, which we serve a buffet of food for a 6 o'clock meal, and then at 6:30 the men go do our thing, the women do their thing, and if you brought your kids, there's a program for them, and it's a great midweek opportunity just for fellowship, friendship building. Guys, we have fun. We play cards. Yeah. We get our favorite sodas or whatever soft drink you like, and we bring it there. And it's a really informal thing. It's not well structured program, but the women's program is a bit more structured. But I've heard nothing but good things and great reactions. They have a great group of women as well. So that's something that takes place, and anyone can step in and go to that. Of course, anyone, of course, is welcome. We all like to encourage people to join us on Sundays. Of course, it's optional, but and there may be some programs in that I'm forgetting. There's a lot of things that pop up throughout the year, services that we might assist with, but. Other than that, the Kids Club program is the most significant because it's every day.
In meeting so many advocates in Lynn, I've noticed that, it's not easy to reach out to your demographic. We talked a little bit before the break about who your demographic is, and it's those who are looking for guidance, looking for growth. But I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You've got kids, you've got family, and from what I've understood in speaking with all these advocates is that the key to community really is family. And it's just exactly that. That's what happens at our dinner parties. It's like, we'll sit down for Thanksgiving and everybody has a great meal, we're all talking, and then afterwards the men are playing football and the women are kind of just hanging out playing cards. I think Categories is the game of choice in my family. And the kids are doing their own thing, probably writing on walls, and I'm sure it's not the case over at the Salvation Army. But I mean, what we're talking about here, we're talking about like creating a sense of community. I mean, you guys are hitting. You start with family, and then it goes to God, and then it comes to service, and it's just, I get really excited. I'm like at a loss for words for what you guys do, and it's great, is what it is it's great. Now, the services that you guys offer there, unbelievable. You had mentioned that the Kids Club. After my research, I thought that this was outstanding. We talked about it a little bit before, but maybe for those who are just joining us, we can start right from the top. Kids Club, what is it?
This is after-school program. It's actually a licensed program.
Okay.
So it has a special structure, so you have to enroll. It's not drop-in center, and we have same kids coming every day. They come after work, we pick them up, or school bus drops them at our location, and we give them after-school care. Snack, fellowship, crafts, sports, homework, and parents pick them up by 6 o'clock. So we give them safe environment, and we also provide different kind of educational programs. One of them is a Sunbeams, Adventure Club,
yeah, let's get into that. Sunbeams and Adventure Club. Sunbeams is the gals, and you have Adventure Club for the guys.
Yes.
What's the goal? I mean, what's the motivation behind these adventure programs?
This is like Scouts.
They're patterned after that kind of a program where you earn badges, try to build character.
So not even on top of creating a sense of community, family, bringing God back into things, you guys are structuring future citizens of Lynn. All right, as if I couldn't like you anymore, now I do. Volunteers are a big part of what you guys do. During the winter season, item Santa is a big part of what you do. We were talking about it before the program. You had the GE down there. H&R Block was down there volunteering some time. For any of our volunteers who are interested, how do they go about reaching out to you? What can they help you do? Are there any things that's a precedent right now than it would be later on?
That is a very open-ended question because there's almost there's so many things. We need people to cut the grass during the summertime. We need people if they could come in, and we would need to process them. That's just a reality of the 21st century.
Right.
Every organization is bound by that.
Even with the kids clubs, they can come help us with the homework. We have 39 kids in the building, not enough staff. I mean, we have people who, our staff for people. But if we have volunteers to help, maybe someone would like to lead some basketball programs for our kids, we are very much open to that.
Okay, outstanding. So volunteering, a big part of it. You can reach out to them. Give them a call, 781-598-0673. They're at 1 Franklin Street in Lynn, Mass.
And it should be noted also, I'm sorry, but there is opportunity for people who, for whatever reason, have to do community service.
Right.
There's forms for that. That happens all the time. They can come on down, and we can get them fulfilled in whatever services they need, whatever hours they need to do.
So anybody who needs to get fulfill some community service, they can just reach out to you guys, and you guys will do that too. So it sounds like there's plenty to be done over the Salvation Army, especially for what you guys are doing. You're advocating for community. You're advocating for growth. There's always room for growth. There's a lot out that can be done. I just want to reiterate some of your detail. Okay, 1 Franklin Street, Lynn, Mass. You can call these guys 781-598-0673. Captain David Payton and Marika Payton. We have been talking about volunteering, the kids club, the services that these guys offer, the history of the organization. It's an outstanding part of Lynn. And if you've ever wondered about the Salvation Army, you can even jump onto their website and learn a little bit more. It's going to be www.salvationarmyma.org/Lynn. These guys are looking for volunteers, so if you're out there and you're looking for a way to help out, Salvation Army is a great way to go. Guys, I just want to thank you for being here. I always like to reserve the last few minutes for closing remarks, for you guys to touch on anything that maybe we didn't touch on, anything that you'd like to add.
One thing I think that should be mentioned is about 6 years ago, there was a need to address the issues of the gangs of Lynn. There are quite a large number, a disproportionate number for the size of our community. So a program was started using our basketball gym, and a great basketball program started, and we've seen real fruits from that. We're talking mixed gangs now. They've decided to lay down any differences for the sake of playing ball together. They don't bring colors, and we didn't have to say that. And 6 years now, that program has been running. They've been playing ball together. Not one incident during those 6 years. And I called the police station the first year after it started to see if there's a real stats that they keep to show that if any difference has been made. And they showed that there was a statistical difference between the first summer and the summer without, particularly on the weekends in terms of gang-related violence. So that's making a major dent in the program, in the issues involved. It's something. It's addressing that they're dealing with each other on a weekly basis. So it's almost impossible to demonize one another when you know you're going to play ball at the end of the week.
And it comes down to one goal, For those at home who are wondering how they can be a part of that, when do you guys have that basketball club?
We don't advertise that. We keep that privately for a very targeted audience.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Guys, again, I don't think I can advocate anymore for what you're doing. It's outstanding. As a citizen of Lynn, I'd like to commend you on everything that you've done and are going to do in the future. Captain David Payton and Captain Marika Payton. Payton, not Patton. David Patton was an ex-Patriot player. We went through this before. Captain David Payton and Captain Marika Payton of the Salvation Army. Guys, thanks for being here. You can reach out to these guys at 781-598-0673. They're at 1 Franklin Street in Lynn, Mass. You can visit their website at www.salvationarmyma.org/Lynn. That's it for the LynnCAM TV show from the studio here at LynnCAM TV. I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best.